Welcome to Lyndhurst Community News, a new weekly podcast that highlights all of the great happenings in and around our township. Today is Wednesday, April 12th. I'm Brian Haggerty, and here's what's happening this week. In Township news, the Department of Public Works, under the direction of Commissioner Richard Jarvis, is hosting 2 paper shredding events at the DPW yard, which is located at 265 Chase Avenue. The first one is going to take place on April 15th, so that's this weekend. And the second will take place on September 16th. Now, both will be open between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. And being that it's springtime, it's time for spring cleanup. So get all of those personal documents that you don't want to put in the garbage, and they've been cluttering up your drawers, and bring them down for shredding. The Parks Department, under the direction of Commissioner John Montillo, has secured seats at the Paper Mill Playhouse to see Murder on the Orient Express on Thursday, May 11th. The bus departs the Parks Department at 6 p.m. for the 7:30 p.m. show. The tickets are $85 each, and for more information, you may call the Parks Department at 201-804-2482 to make reservations. The Lyndhurst Police Department has announced that the DeJessa Memorial Bridge, which is on Kingsland Avenue, will be closed until further notice. So please plan an alternate route. And we all know how the traffic backs up down there, but this is not something the township is doing. They are not in charge. They're only reporting on the news. Also, a reminder that coming up on April 24th, the Mobile Division of Motor Vehicles unit will be here in the township at the Little League Fields on Riverside Avenue from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's also going to return June 19th, August 29th, and October 23rd. Now, this is a great convenience for those who neither have the time to go to the Division of Motor Vehicles nor the patience to wait on long lines. The Lyndhurst Health Department, under the direction of Commissioner Karen Haggerty and Health Coordinator Janine Barone, will be holding a free glucose, blood pressure, and cholesterol screening on April 20th, 2023. The screening will be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and it will take place at the Lyndhurst Health Department, which is located at 253 Stuyvesant Avenue. Now, please call first to set up an appointment if you wish to come, and that phone number is 201-804-2500. Now, moving on to what's going on with our clubs and organizations, the Lyndhurst Historical Society, which meets at 7 p.m., on the third Thursday of the month, and they meet at the Parks Department building on 250 Cleveland Avenue. They'd like to invite everyone who's interested in the public to come and attend, and also to follow them on Lyndhurst, New Jersey Historical Society on Facebook. That's all you have to search, Lyndhurst, New Jersey Historical Society. The Little Red Schoolhouse, by the way, is our local museum. It's at 400 Riverside Avenue. It's open from 2 to 4 p.m. on the second and fourth Sunday of the month, except for holidays. The exhibits include a replica of a one-room schoolhouse in the early 1900s, as well as the Kingsland explosion from 1917, as well as also a rotating exhibit, which is currently a history of the Lyndhurst High School musical programs dating from the 1920s to the present. Admission is always free. And check that out, folks. If you've ever driven down Riverside Avenue directly across from the county park and see that little red schoolhouse, that's our local museum. And there's tons of great stuff in there that the whole family can enjoy, as well as learning about our history. Lyndhurst Elks are hosting a spring craft and vendor fair this Saturday, April 15th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at their lodge at 251 Park Avenue. And this is the perfect occasion to find a great gift for Mother's Day. Also, Our Lady of Mount Carmel Seniors Organization would like you to know that you don't need to be a parishioner of Mount Carmel or a senior or even a Lyndhurst resident in order to join this group. The Mount Carmel seniors meet at the Lyndhurst Senior Center on Cleveland Avenue on the third Tuesday of each month. The doors open at 10:30 a.m. for the 11 a.m. meeting, and it always includes coffee and. It's a social club that has occasional speakers or entertainment, but they also have many fun trips. Now, the dues are only $10 annually, folks. So if you're interested to come to a meeting or join or have any questions, call Dorothea Rizzo at 201-933-0540. Now, folks, I do have to make 2 corrections from last week's episode. I'm new at this, and yes, I make mistakes, just as we all do. Anyway, the band I had told you about, Regicide, their drummer's name is Anthony Piniella. I had mistakenly used his mother's maiden name of DeMarco. Of course, I grew up with his mother, which is why I did that. And my other correction is also the Lyndhurst Historical Society's Art and Crafts Show, which is on May 6th, will be held at the Lyndhurst Recreation Building at 862 Valley Brook Avenue. I had mistakenly said the location would be the Lyndhurst Senior Building on Cleveland Avenue. So, my mistake, there are my corrections. Also, a reminder not to miss the American Legion Post 139's annual Dennis Terrace and Kenny Stevens Beefsteak, which will be held at the Legion Post on Friday, April 28th. Tickets are $60, and they must be purchased ahead of time. Obviously, we need the correct head count to give to the beefsteak company who takes care of that for us. And it will feature all-you-can-eat beefsteak, as well as French fries, pasta, tap beer, wine, and soda. Now, you could either reach out to me for tickets, or you could stop by the Post any day after 1 p.m. and see either Mike Carroll, the bartender. There's always going to be a group of guys there. The proceeds benefit our local scholarships to Lyndhurst high school students, so it's all for a great cause. And by the way, if you are a veteran, or if you're the son or a grandson of a veteran, consider joining the American Legion. There's a hall upstairs available for rent for parties, but downstairs we have a brand new bar area with 4 large-screen TVs where people always come to gather to watch whatever sport happens to be on that day. And it's a great meeting place with wonderful people. It's kind of like my second home, so come on down and join. Now, I want to end today with a little civics lesson. This is about Lyndhurst's form of government, because it is a rare form of government used only by 7 other larger communities, which include Nutley, our neighbor across the river, North Bergen, Union City, Ridgefield Park, Melville, and West New York. Now, like Lyndhurst, they each have a 5-member Board of Commissioners. Now, there are 25 other small Jersey Shore communities which actually have 3-member Board of Commissioners due to their smaller year-round population. In fact, Lyndhurst originally had a 3-member board, which became a 5-member board in 1937 because the population had grown so much. Now, I realize that when new people move into the township, they really don't know or understand how our local government works, which may be one of the reasons why few of the newer residents vote in local elections. Now, for one thing, our local elections take place once every 4 years in the month of May. And most people are used to November elections, a general election day. But the reason they take place in May is because they are nonpartisan elections. And what that means is that candidates do not run under the traditional Republican or Democrat banner, which is something I like because there's far too much division in today's politics. And also local issues such as picking up your garbage, sweeping your streets, providing public safety as well as local services, to me, really shouldn't be a Republican or Democrat issue. It should be local to the people. So the commission form of government falls under what is called the Walsh Act. Now, that is legislation that was passed by the state of New Jersey, and it permits municipalities to adopt a nonpartisan form of government. The legislation was signed by Governor of New Jersey at that time, Woodrow Wilson, on April 25th, 1911. The commissions in the Walsh Act communities, by the way, are composed of either 3 or 5 members, as I had said, that are elected for 4-year concurrent terms, meaning every 4 years, all 5 members seek re-election or may retire, whatever they depend to do. The commissioners also serve as department heads, in addition to their legislative functions. Now, this is probably the biggest distinction between commission and other council governments, meaning unlike a council person, who is a legislator and only a legislator, and they have no executive authority, commissioners are both legislative and executive. This means that in addition to passing local ordinances and budgets, each commissioner is the director of their respective department. In Lyndhurst, we have 5 commissioners, each of whom serves as the director of one department. The names of those departments are the Department of Public Safety, and that's your police and your fire and your emergency services, your EMT. You have the Department of Revenue and Finance, which collects all of the taxes and as well as all the fees and helps set forth a budget, although all the commissioners have their own budget and each works on his or her budget for his or her department. And then, of course, at the end of the year, they have to pass that budget. And that vote, they must have 4 votes out of the 5 to pass a budget. We also have the Department of Public Works, which is your water, your sewer, your street sweeping, your engineering, everything that you don't see, everything that's underground. 55 miles worth of roads. By the way, we have 55 miles worth of roadways here in Lyndhurst. Hard to believe, but yes, we do. Public Works takes care of all of that. We have the Department of Parks and Recreation, which is our sports leagues, our fields, as well as township buildings. And the recreation part are things like we said earlier, planning bus trips to go see plays or planning bus trips to go anywhere that are done throughout the year. And finally, the Department of Public Affairs, which is a rather small department, basically consisting of your clerk, your statutory positions, your construction official, the planning and zoning board. Of course, members to those boards have to be approved by the board as a whole. Now, from 2005 to 2009, I had served as the Commissioner of Public Works, and then in my second and final term, I served as the Commissioner of Public Affairs. And I was very happy, and it was a great honor to serve in this wonderful community of ours. Now, the other big difference that most newer people don't understand is the election of a mayor. In commission government, the voters do not elect the mayor. Instead, the mayor is elected by the commissioners. The mayor serves as chairman of the commission. And even though the mayor usually gets the highest number of votes, it is not that which determines the mayorship, because under the Walsh Act, it is the commissioners who elect the mayor. With few exceptions, Walsh Act mayors have no powers over and above their fellow commissioners and are only responsible for their specific departments. But of course, they chair the meetings and they sign off on the budget. So this is why you never see a mayoral election in Lyndhurst. This is also why there is some confusion among newer residents who may call the mayor's office regarding an issue, only to find out that that issue may fall under the purview of another commissioner. But the good thing is that locally, our commissioners have a very good working relationship and generally will assist one another with any issue which may arise. Now, the Walsh Act was modeled on the commission system that was set up originally in Galveston, Texas, of all places, and that happened in the wake of the devastating hurricane of 1900. Now, part of its reconstruction efforts after the hurricane, the city reorganized itself to a government system in which each elected official had a specific area of responsibility, combining both executive and legislative responsibilities. So that's why for revenue and finance, they would look for a tax person or an accountant. And for public safety, they would look for somebody with law enforcement background or, any type. Everything had to match. Public works, they would get engineers. So that's basically what the thinking was. And the reason they gave them executive powers is so that they can get things done quickly to kind of bypass much of the, much of the paperwork and the process that is involved in general types of councils and move things along far more quickly. So that was a good thing at the time. It was enacted again in the Walsh Act in 1911 and specified that commissioners would be elected at large, meaning we don't have any precincts, we don't have any different wards as some townships do. We're just at large in the township, 5 commissioners are elected, and they serve for a 4-year term. And by the way, the Walsh Act was the first charter in New Jersey to include options for ballot initiatives, referendums, as well as recall. Pardon my throat, folks. I'm still going on with these allergies this time of the year, as most of us are. Anyway, the popularity of the Walsh Act form of government began to decline, originally from about 60 communities in the state of New Jersey from the earlier times. And Faulkner Act forms of government began to become more popular. And that's what people are most familiar with. That's mayor and council. That's where you vote for the mayor. You may have a council-manager form of government. You have forms of government where you have a strong mayor who actually runs the city on a day-to-day basis, and what's called a weak mayor, such as a council manager. And that's where the township manager, who's not elected but chosen by the council, and that person is in charge of the day-to-day operations of running a town or a city. So I hope this quick civics lesson has helped those of you who are unfamiliar with the township government to better understand how our government operates here in Lyndhurst. So that wraps it up this week, folks. A short news week, but I remind you that whatever is going on in your club, church, organization, school, sports team, whatever's going on, even anniversaries or birthdays of note, meaning, 50th anniversaries, any milestone event in your life, and anything that you would consider to be newsworthy for the township, please email us at lyndhurstcommunitynews@gmail.com. That email will be in the description box below. I also want to remind you to click subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, as well as click the notification bell so you'll always be notified when a new episode comes out each Wednesday. But also to follow us on our Facebook page so that you will always know what's going on. And that's about it, folks. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good Easter holiday, those of you who celebrate Easter. And this weekend, we'll have a lot of things going on around town. So get out there, enjoy this beautiful spring weather that is almost like summer weather, by the way, that's hitting us very early on. Get to know your neighbors, smile, say hello, and let's all together build and maintain what has always been a wonderful community. So take care, folks, and God bless.